What if I told you everything you think you know about Princess Diana's family is a lie? We all know the fairy tale version. The shy young woman with blue eyes who became a princess. A global icon of grace and rebellion. Everyone believes she came from the Spencers, a noble, polished, respectable family. But that's only the story we were meant to believe. Because behind the name Spencer lies another name. A forgotten one. A darker one. A name that carries betrayal, forbidden love, and royal blood. The name Tudor. Yes, that Tudor. The dynasty of Henry VIII. The line of beheaded queens and shattered vows. The bloodiest royal house in England's history. History says the Tudor line ended with Queen Elizabeth I, but official history is often the most beautiful lie of all. Because the Tudor blood never died. It simply went underground, waiting for the perfect moment to rise again. And that moment came with Princess Diana. Our story doesn't begin in a palace, but in the shadows of history, with a woman England tried to forget. Her name was Mary Tudor. Not Bloody Mary the Queen, but Henry VIII's younger sister, a woman once called the Pearl of England. She was fiery, radiant, and beloved by her brother, but pearls are made to be locked away. In 1514, Henry forced his 18-year-old sister to marry the aging king of France. It was not love. It was politics. A girl traded like gold for power. Imagine a young and full of life walking the cold corridors of a foreign court, surrounded by strangers and suspicion. One guard later told his son, the sound of her laughter was the only warmth in that castle. But 82 days after her wedding, the king was dead. Mary was a widow, and for the first time, she was free. But freedom for a princess in the 1500s was an illusion. Her next husband would still be chosen by her brother, and Mary knew Henry would never let her marry for love. But she had already made a promise to Charles Brandon, the Duke of Suffolk, Henry's closest friend, and the man she loved. Before she left England, they swore if she ever became a widow, she would marry him. And now, she intended to keep that promise. Even if it meant defying the king himself. When Henry sent Charles to France to escort his sister home, he warned him, do not touch her. He gave Charles a golden ring, a symbol of trust and a threat. But love doesn't bow to kings. When Charles saw Mary again, her eyes said everything. That night, she cornered him and said, "Marry me now, or I'll tell Henry you refused me." It was blackmail, but also destiny. And so, in a tiny chapel near Paris, with trembling hands and a borrowed ring, they married in secret. The priest's voice quivered as he blessed them. When the wind blew the chapel doors open, half the candles went out. The priest whispered, "An omen." He was right. They were married, and doomed. When they returned to England, Henry's silence was more terrifying than his anger. They were summoned to court, not as family, but as prisoners. Everyone knew what they had done. The court buzzed with gossip, and Henry, Octavo, the man of 6 wives and endless fury, was ready to destroy them both. But he didn't. He preferred slower punishments. He took their money, their lands, their freedom. He forced them to publicly beg for forgiveness. And when they knelt before him, he sighed coldly, "Your children will live because I allow it, but they will carry no claim. You will never be free." And from that moment, the Tudor bloodline became a curse. Mary and Charles lived under watch for years. Their servants were spies. Their home, a prison with flowers in the windows. Still, they had children, 2 daughters, Frances and Eleanor, and through them, the forbidden bloodline continued. Frances Brandon grew strong and proud. But when her daughter Lady Jane Grey was crowned queen at 16, the curse returned. Jane never wanted the throne, but in the game of crowns, no one asks what you want. 9 days after she was crowned, she was executed in the Tower of London. Just 17 years old. Her blood ran red across the same stones where her great-grandmother had once defied a king. But even death couldn't erase this family. Jane's sisters, Catherine and Mary Grey, Both fell in love and married in secret. Both were punished by the crown. Prison. Isolation. Each dying young, broken by a curse born of love and rebellion. For generations, this bloodline hid in plain sight, its royal claim erased, its name changed, its history forgotten until it merged with another English name, Spencer. The Spencers became rich landowners, noble, respectable, unremarkable. But hidden deep in their bloodline was the legacy of Mary Tudor, Charles Brandon and the girl Queen Jane Grey. Centuries later, a daughter was born, Diana Frances Spencer. That middle name, Frances, was not chosen at random. It was a quiet echo from her ancestor, Frances Brandon. When Diana married Prince Charles, the world called it a fairy tale, a commoner joining royalty. But the truth was far more poetic. Through Diana, the blood Henry VIII tried to erase, returned to the British throne. Her son, Prince William, the future King of England, now carries the blood of Mary Tudor, the woman who once defied the crown for love. History is rarely a straight line, it's a circle, and sometimes it bleeds. From Mary Tudor's forbidden love, to Lady Jane Grey's execution, to Diana's tragic fate, this bloodline has always stood against the throne. And now, after centuries of silence, it has come home. Princess Diana was never just the people's princess. She was something older, deeper, defiant. She was the Tudors' revenge, a story that began in a secret chapel 500 years ago, sealed with love and written in blood.